And I'm also going to share my desktop. We are going to go over task 3 today from the road trip project. So I'm going to go ahead and open my document from yesterday that I was working in. And can you let me know if you can see my desktop? You can just type yes or unmute yourself and say yes. Perfect. Okay. So we are going to scroll down to task 3. Yesterday, remember, it was all about transportation, and today is all about hotels. So today is about lodging, so where you're going to spend the night. So remember, when you go on this road trip, you have you've basically 2 different places where you could potentially have to get a hotel. You obviously have to get hotels for every place you stay, and for however many days you decide to stay. Remember, my first city is San Diego, so I'm going to need a hotel for 4 days, or for 4 nights in San Diego. There's another portion of the trip where you're also probably going to have to rent some hotels, and this is part of the trip that we don't want to forget about, because this is what yesterday we realized was going to extend the length of our trip outside of just how many days we're at each city. So task 3 says, refer to task 2, part A, to determine how many nights you plan to stay in each city. The first part is find a hotel to stay in for each night. You will need to find the cost per night, then multiply that by the number of nights at that hotel. Be sure to fill out the table for all hotels you'll need to stay at on your trip. The first piece of information here, this first bullet point, is really important. This is the one that says, don't forget the hotels needed on the way to a city if it's too far to travel in one day. And we saw that yesterday with San Diego. I can't get to San Diego in one day. So I drive my 800 miles. I'm going to have to stay somewhere in a hotel. So I'm going to show you on Google Maps how to find those locations. It says it is okay if you have extra boxes in the table below. And if you need to add boxes, you can do that as well. You can look up hotels on the internet. You can use Google, Kayak, Expedia, Priceline, Hotwire, and you can also search for a specific hotel. Let's say you like to stay at a Super 8, or you want to stay at a Holiday Inn because you're comfortable with that brand of hotel. So that's your choice as well. Also make sure that you're saving pictures of your hotels for the PowerPoint presentation. So I normally, if San Diego was less than 800 miles away, I would put it in right here, I would pick a hotel, and I would fill all that in. You're going to see me do that in a minute, but first I'm going to have to go to Google Maps, because remember from yesterday that San Diego is over 800 miles away. So I'm going to go back to Google Maps, and I'm going to know what I'm doing today. So let's see, we started, I think I did this. I did it backwards, so it would work right. San Diego, directions to San Diego from the middle school. East or west? I don't know. West? We'll say west. Okay, so remember this 2,000, I think this was the track I took the first time. 2,226 miles. So what I have to do, and you can, I think, take this guy, or I can put, yeah, there we go. I can just put a point on here. So I can find out, I know that this is 2,226 miles, and that was about 3 days. It's going to take me about 3 days to drive there. So I can go about a third of the way on the first day, and then I can go about another third of the way, and then I should be able to get to San Diego after that. So when I do this, I need to make sure that I'm picking a city that's about 800 miles away. So if I put a little, well, maybe I would drag it. I'm just watching it change the miles. Oh, because that's changing the route. Okay, no, I don't want to do that. I want this route. Okay, so let's go about a third of the way. If I go from Kendallville to, I'm going to zoom in here around, where is that? Nebraska, South Dakota, Lincoln, Nebraska, right? That's a place. Omaha. Okay, so I'm going to put Omaha in here. I'm just going to see how far away that is. Omaha, Nebraska. 616 miles. So that's under 800 miles. So that works. So that means the first day I'm going to drive to Omaha, Nebraska. So I'm going to go here, hotels in Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, I see a Hilton Omaha for 70 bucks. That's pretty cheap. Also, sometimes in bigger cities, you'll get these really cool maps that will show you, like, you can just click on one of these and get a hotel. So I'm going to click on this Hilton Omaha hotel. I see it's $70 a night. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to snip a picture. Remember, actually, no, these hotels, the hotels that you stay in just for one night while you're traveling, you don't have to take pictures of those. So it's $70. It's called the Hilton Omaha. So I'm going to go back to my document. The city is Omaha, Nebraska. It's the Hilton Omaha. It's $70 per night. I'm only staying one night because remember, this is just while I'm traveling. So it's going to cost me $70 altogether. Okay, so that's the first part of the trip. Now I need to decide from Omaha, remember we're trying to get all the way to San Diego, and what's maybe the halfway point for here, somewhere in Colorado. So I'm going to put San Diego back in because I want to see what cities I'm going to be traveling through. Oh, come on, map. My map's frozen or something. Okay, we'll try again. Okay, and I am going to go back up and click this one because I know this was the route that I picked in my original. Although this isn't really the fun one to drive through. You would go through some mountains in here. When I actually drove to San Diego, I think this was the route. We took this route. We went through New Mexico, Arizona, yep, right through the north part of Texas. Okay, so I stayed in Omaha. I was over here. Now I need a city, I don't know, somewhere in the west side of Colorado or the east side of Utah. You can kind of zoom in a little bit and try to find a bigger city because some of these smaller cities, it'll be harder to find a hotel. I mean, I could get one in Denver, Breckenridge. Let's go Grand Junction. So now I'm going to type in, remember this is just for one night. Hotels in Grand Junction, Colorado. There we go. Courtyard by Marriott, Grand Junction, $88 a night. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my document. Courtyard by Marriott, Grand Junction. That's the name of the city. Grand Junction, Colorado. And it's $88 a night. I'm staying for one night for a total of $88. Okay, so there we go. There's my trip. That's just to get me to San Diego. So now, after that night's stay, then the next day, I can go the rest of the way to San Diego. Now I'm in San Diego. This is my city. This is where I need to find a hotel. So, hotels in San Diego. What's that? Capri by the Sea, San Diego, California. I've stayed at this place before. This is like a giant, they're like little condos, and I've stayed there before and it's super fun. So I'm going to go ahead and I know that I want to get a hotel there, or I want to get a room there. So I'm going to snip a picture because I need to save it into my document. There's room way down here at the bottom for pictures. There's my Capri by the Sea picture. Cool. I'm in San Diego, California. Capri by the Sea. And now I have to find a room and I figure out how much they are. And these are pretty expensive. But when we stayed in them before, let's see, reserve a unit. Sometimes you have to click around on these websites a little bit. And I should have maybe shared this yesterday, but you should never at any point, yeah, see, I don't want to do that. You should never at any point type in your name, your address, a phone number, an email, nothing. Okay, you should only be getting stuff from here. Let's see, travel dates. Oh, here we go. Nightly rates from $134. Choose accommodation. So you can start talking about, do you want like a 1-bedroom condo? Do you want a 2-bedroom? And you can see how many people it sleeps. This sleeps up to 6 people. I don't need anything this big. When we stayed there, we did sleep a lot of people, but we were also splitting it between a whole bunch of people too. So I might want something like this standard 1-bedroom condo. It says it sleeps 4 people, so there's probably either a couple of twin beds in there, or maybe one of the sofas pulls out into a bed. So if I pick some dates here, I think we said we could leave the 16th. I'm traveling 1, 2, 3. I would get there on the 18th. Whoops, I just did the wrong thing. I need to fix that. Staying 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Yeah, there we go. The 18th to the 22nd. Okay, that's good. Good. I said good, good, good. So there we go. $134.25 a night. So now I'm going to go back to my document. Type in 134. What did I just say? How did I forget that already? 134.25. 134.25, and I'm staying for 4 nights. So now you have to multiply that by 4. So grab my calculator. 134.25 times 4. Well, what? 134.25 times 4. Yeah, $537. So that's how much it's going to cost me. Oh my gosh, these trips are going to be so expensive. That's how much it's going to cost me just to stay at the hotel in San Diego. So now remember what happened. Some of you aren't going to have to do this part right in the beginning. Others of you are going to have to do it right away because maybe you picked a city that's really far away to start, or maybe you have a city later on that is going to take you a couple of days to get to. So remember that not only do you have the hotels in the cities where you're staying, you also have hotels for parts of your trip along the way. And I'll kind of show you that again. So let's pretend that you, I don't know, you stopped somewhere and then you got out to San Diego. You stopped halfway or something in a different city. You got yourself to San Diego. Now you want to go from San Diego to Miami, Florida. Okay, so you're going to see again on this trip. I don't know why my map is not loading. That map is supposed to just keep reloading and reloading and reloading. Okay, Miami. And I want to get there from San Diego. So again, and I'm just showing you a different route because again, look, this is 2,671 miles and you can't do all of that traveling in one day. So you would start in San Diego and then you would have to say, okay, give me about 1/3 of the way. Maybe it's somewhere here in New Mexico. And then you have to go a little bit further, another 1/3 of the way. There's so much background noise when that happens. Can you just wait like 10 more minutes, please? Okay. So then you have to go another 1/3 of the way and maybe stay somewhere in Louisiana. and then you would be able to get to Miami, Florida after that. So you kind of have to look at your trip and say, okay, what's about, maybe it's 1,600 miles, and you can only travel 800 a day. So you have to think, what's 800 miles away? So, okay, maybe I'm right about here. What's another 800 miles away? Maybe you're right around in here. I'm not going to be super specific in terms of counting, but you certainly can't get a hotel right here the first night. Say you drive from San Diego to right over here, wherever this is, and then you tell me in the next day you're going to drive all the way to Miami, because that won't work. I know that's too far. So some of you, again, are going to have some hotels where you're going to have to stay there just for one night because you're traveling. You're driving and you want to, you got to spend the night somewhere because you can't drive through the night. You can't drive 33 hours straight. So this is what you're doing today. It's all of your hotels. Make sure that you're snipping pictures only of the hotels in your main cities, not of any like one night, overnight stays. You do have to put the total cost that you're going to spend on your hotels. So this is where you would be adding the last column up. Adding the last column up from your table. So what was mine? 70, then 88, 70, 88, and 537. So right now I'm at 70 plus 88 plus 537, and so on. So you would keep doing that until you get your total that you would spend just in hotels. Remember, you are not going to need all of these lines in this table, but I just put enough in there that would be enough that no one's going to run out of room. If you think you're running out of room, maybe contact me. There's a possibility we're not doing something right in terms of finding hotels. You're also welcome to, let's say I want to stay 2 nights at this hotel, but I want to spend 2 nights in a different hotel in San Diego. You can do that too, but you just have to put that all on here. So today it's all about where are you sleeping at night. Remember that you have hotels from traveling just through the country if you're going more than 800 miles, and you're also going to have hotels in your cities. Not tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll talk about food. So if you've got any questions while you're working on this, please make sure you're reaching out. I've been trying to get in touch with some of you who I haven't heard anything from because I want to make sure that you're working on this and not trying to save this all and get it all done in one day. So if you don't have any questions right now, we'll go ahead and get out of here.